Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. So Solana is absolutely going crazy. It has now reached nearly $25. We did push higher in this wave 5 here. We talked about that. As long as this green support area is holding, further upside is expected. It could have been an A overshooting B wave end with a C wave down, but obviously we broke above the previous high, which then made it as a breakout likely that we get a fifth wave. I couldn't even do a video that fast, but there we are. We did even overshoot the ideal target range, which obviously shows the strength of Solana. So what we need to say here is that this doesn't need to be over yet. It doesn't need to be over yet. As you know, I'm still skeptical about the situation that a bear market low could be in, but that's not a problem because we are tracking here this impulse in the short term. So anybody who wants to trade this can use these entry areas. We so far had 2 here. I had a few comments, just a few comments really, of people who asked why I'm changing my view, because just a few weeks ago I talked about still lower lows for Solana. Well, there's 2 things about that. So first of all, we adjusted the scenario already. That's why I offered long entry points here. Yeah. So the scenario has already been changed a while ago. Basically, when we moved up here for the first time around the 3rd of January, that is when I changed the scenario and provided a support area here or long entry point and here again, and both would have been very, very successful. So I changed the scenario. However, this is only short term. So we're tracking an impulse short term. It's not the most beautiful impulse, but it is quite significant. So obviously we do analyze these charts in order to identify exactly those signals. The view that we still make a lower low is still valid, and we can still get that new low because we are still below the 88.7% FIB level of the larger Solana cycle that is basically at round about $30. So as long as we're below that level, it could very well be that all we do is now move up and retest that $30 level and then break down again. Yeah, but in the short term, we currently see the development of an impulse, which means we're tracking that, which means I'm following it, I'm watching it. I can provide short-term entry points, which the 2 that I offered, I think were super successful. Of course, I can only analyze what I see. So there was no way to say here when it was bleeding out that we're going to see a move up. In fact, we did expect a move to the upside, but only a corrective move up. So the warning was there that we would see some sort of upside. That it is so impulsive, I didn't expect, but of course that's why we analyze, because if we analyze and see that it's more bullish than anticipated, of course we're changing the view. So it's very simple. One skill that many retail traders don't have, but which is so important, is it takes them far too long to turn bullish when the trend is shifting up, and it's taking them far too long to accept that a bear market has started after a bull run. Yeah. That's why so many people were waiting for the 40 to 30K range in 2022 to make their mind up that, oh dear, we are probably in a bear market. Yeah, something that with the Elliott wave method we already identified when Bitcoin was around 55K. So again, also here, obviously, like with any analysis, the price needs to rally a little bit in order to confirm that a low is in. And I don't want to give you a signal for that the bear market low is in before it's confirmed, because I have some degree of responsibility. Like I waited and I couldn't tell you at 70K that Bitcoin is going into a bear market. Would have been absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, because as long as you're in a bull run, the trend is up. But when you have the signal that the Elliott waves provide you that the bear market started or that a large uptrend is over, you know that you need some kind of movement in the price to the downside in order to confirm that. The same way that we now need to see how the structure establishes in order to confirm that, okay, the bear market low is in or was in. Therefore, of course, and I mentioned it many times, we are in a long-term accumulation area, and everybody who's convinced of the Solana project, DCA is the option, right? And now, obviously, I think as soon as possible, I mean, we moved up off the low here from $8 to $14, and then I provided already my first entry point here. And anybody who entered in the first entry point, yeah, is probably already 90% up if you didn't sell along the way, which is likely that you maybe sold. Even from the second one here, probably around 60% up. So that's how we follow this. And the view has to be, as long as you have an impulse building, and these critical support areas hold, it can be that targets are being taken out because the targets are only ideal targets. And as long as you have an impulse and as long as the support areas hold, it can still move higher and it can extend out. So that has to be the strategy, the view. Always bearing in mind the bigger context that Solana is still below the 88.7% FIB level. And as long as we don't get above that level, there is still significant downside pressure on the chart. But I did mention to you, well, already down here that we are tracking an impulse. This was obviously very much the beginning. And it's building. And then I said, if we get above $20, that's the first early sign that a bear market low is in. And we've got that first early sign, but it's not evident. So we need to be a bit more patient. So what is the count? I changed the count a little bit, nothing major. But obviously you have to account for that latest move to the upside, which allows us to define a support area. There are a few, there are a few different counts. So 2 different counts I like to make you aware of. This is the first count that I have here and that I'm observing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very similar to the one that we had before. And in this count, the wave 5 can obviously still go a bit higher. To be honest, it currently looks a bit like a wave 4 that we're in. So in this count, we could still make another move to the upside. To be honest, in this 5th wave to the upside, I'm still looking at it's similar to Bitcoin that we had here. Probably some kind of a leading diagonal. 1 sec. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we could still get one more leg up. We don't need to, but I'm going to tell you the key support level that we now need to hold to make another 5th wave likely. This is, to be honest, I'd be extremely careful now here with long trades. I mean, this was a long trade area. This was a long trade area. Both successful. I would now start to get a bit careful. The reason is that we really have a clear 5-wave move up, and yes, it can still move up, and I'm not saying you shouldn't trade this. You can, but I'm just saying be careful now, because we're just way overheated now on the daily time frame. Yeah, so last time we were that overheated was when we made an all-time high. Yeah, that was in September 21. So yeah, just be a bit careful, which doesn't mean you shouldn't buy in. If you for example think this is now going to go back into the bull run, and you don't have any exposure, you might want to add some, or you might want to wait for that next pullback. But yeah, this could be a wave 4 at the moment. And what is the critical level that it must not drop below? So it's actually already, no, it's reached the perfect retracement for the wave 4, the 38.2 retracement. So if it drops below 20.58, let's call it $20. Yeah? If it drops below $20 and sustains, then this is most likely already on its way down. Yeah, so that means the 5th wave is complete, the 1st wave is complete, and then we are heading down in a wave 2. This wave 2 could be a historically low entry point. What do I mean with that? I mean that obviously the potential is there that the bear market low is already in. Again, it's not confirmed yet, but the potential is there. But if it is in, then this wave 2 will provide an entry point. Probably, let's measure it. Let's measure it. Possibly in the region between 1190 and 1662. It means that we may never see these prices again if we get into a bull run. So that's why this wave 2 will be a very critical point. Okay. So it could be an A wave, B wave, C wave, or it could be a 1, 2, 3. And both this would be an amazing entry point. But that only if we break below $20. As long as we're holding 20, this can still push higher. Yeah, and in this count, it can still go higher. And if we talk about possible targets measured from the current low, we could still see the 26.40 to the $30 level as realistic. Okay, there is another count that's much more bullish. And I have to make you aware of it, but it's my second option. It's the alternative. It's really the option if we really rally. If we really rally above the $30 level. Yeah. So, and this count would imply that, and I'm not going to show you all the details, but it would indicate that this move up, let me just think how I had it. Move it back into the center here a little bit. So that this was actually, all of this was a wave 1. We've come down in a wave 2. We are now in, let me think if I've got the right, yeah, this would now be some kind of a wave 3 top. We would then come down in 4 and move up in 5. So the wave 5 could possibly be stronger. Yeah, that would be actually similar to the Bitcoin count. So we have to take it seriously as well. It wouldn't really make a great difference, but it would mean the wave 5 can be longer and the wave 4 might be able to push down a little bit. Which means, again, let me just double check that. First of all, let's check if the wave 3 here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if that could already be finished. And yeah, we reached, because here we reached certainly the area between the 1.618 and the 200% extension. Also here it could still squiggle a bit higher, yeah, in this third wave here. And we would then also come down in a 4, but I think the support area allows for a little bit more of a retracement. Yeah, see, and here's the difficult bit. This would allow the wave 4 to come down to 1879. So let me think, is that correct? Yeah. So it means if you want to be on the safe side and if you're positioned long here, you want to trade that, maybe even have your stop below 1879. Now that's a bit of problematic because it's quite far away. And I would personally look at the $20 level rather, because that's my primary expectation. Here this pullback would be quite strong, but certainly possible to come down to 1879 and then still move up. On the flip side, it means if it comes back to that level and we see it holds it, it might provide a nice trade into a wave 5. Yeah. So that's sort of what I'm observing here, these two scenarios. The trend for me is still up. First of all, short-term trend, certainly as long as we're holding the $20 level, and then we need to see what happens then. But first of all, as long as $20 hold, we can focus here still on higher. Okay, and that's my update about Solana. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.